Internships. It feels like most jobs nowadays are internships, and there aren't many jobs available. The concept of internships dates way back. Let's begin at the Middle Ages. Well, in those times it wasn't called an internship, but something similar, which was an apprenticeship. Young people would learn a craft from an expert and earn access to a guild, which would often supervise these apprenticeships. During these apprenticeships, food, clothing, and boarding was provided. Experts agree that in the largest sense, internships descend from the professional apprenticeships that originated with the trade guilds of Europe in the 11th and 12th centuries. Master craftsmen and tradesmen took in young learners and gave them menial tasks that make filing and photocopying look plush. Apprentices served one master for most of their teen years. Then they could graduate to journeyman and start earning better wages. Often they chose to continue with the same masters. Throughout history, most trades such as painting, carpentry, shoemaking, or instrument making was operated by guilds. These guilds were organized associations of individuals such as artisans, craftsmen, and merchants, established to regulate trade, ensure quality craftsmanship, and to provide benefits and privileges to their members, such as supporting and taking care of their families following their demise. The craftsmen who were members of these guilds had to follow certain rules and had the privilege of being able to sell their goods or practice their craft within a specific geographic area. The guilds would also regulate prices and the number of apprentices that could be taken in and their working hours. Guild members who did not follow the rules would be fined or even be banned from the guild. One did not just become a master at their craft, there was a hierarchy one had to pass through on their journey to becoming a master. At the lowest level, we have an apprentice. Apprentices were beginners who sought to learn a craft under the guidance of a master craftsman. Only a master craftsman was permitted to train apprentices and to continue on the craft. The master would take on an apprentice who would study and work under the master in order to learn the trade for maybe 3 to 7 years. Apprentices learned the fundamental skills and techniques from their master. They received training, worked in the master's workshop, and learned things firsthand under the watchful eye of their master. Once the apprentice had fully learned the trade, he would be promoted to the level of journeyman. Journeymen were skilled workers who had completed their apprenticeships and were on a journey to further improve their craft. Journeymen would travel from place to work for various master craftsmen to learn from in order to gain diverse experience. At the top of the hierarchy were the master craftsmen, individuals who had achieved a high level of expertise in their craft. Masters were individuals who had demonstrated mastery of their techniques and could create high-quality work. Masters were skilled artisans with the authority to own and operate their workshops. To become a master, the journeyman would have to complete a masterpiece. Members of the guild would then judge the masterpiece, and the journeyman would either pass or fail. This stage between journeyman and master often lasted a long time because the guilds limited how many masters could work in a given area. Let's come back to the present. Enter the modern day intern. What is an internship anyway? An internship is a form of experiential learning that integrates knowledge and theory learned in the classroom with practical applications and skills development in a professional workplace setting. It has long been associated with medicine, as the skills needed to succeed in that field can only be learned by getting your hands dirty. The term internship is a modern-day professional term and is different from an apprenticeship, whereby an apprenticeship involved working in a trade or in a craft, whilst modern-day internships don't always require getting your hands dirty or working in a trade or a craft. It could be working on a computer, for example. There are several types of internships, but here's a few. You can have paid internships. These ones provide candidates with financial compensation for their work, and then you can also have unpaid internships, which don't provide financial compensation. Sometimes internships can differ by location. An internship could be remote, or it could be one where you physically have to be present at the work establishment. They can also differ by the working hours that you have to do at the internship. Some internships can be full-time, whilst others can be part-time. The full-time internship being working standard working hours, 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday, whilst the part-time internship being maybe just working 10 hours a week. Sometimes they can also differ by geographical location. You can have internships which are local, which are within your city, or you could have an international internship which requires you to travel to another country. Internships are important because mainly they serve as a way of getting job experience. As you know, when people look at your CV, they want to see what you've done and where you've worked before. And an internship can serve as a stepping stone into the working world as you gain first-hand experience. They allow you to network and connect with other people. Working as an intern allows you to meet other young people in the working world and to hear and learn from their work experiences. They may also be able to tell you when opportunities arise that you may have missed or you did not know of. Due to the nature of work, internships can allow you to learn other skills besides job-related skills. For instance, learning a new language because you're working in a different city or country, and also overall people skills, learning to communicate and work effectively with others. Internships can also help you in deciding your career trajectory. Maybe after finishing an internship, you may want to focus on a different area of work than what you had thought of pursuing at school. Or maybe after working a couple of internships, you may decide that you may want to quit the 9-to-5 working world and be an entrepreneur, for instance. As beneficial as internships may be, there is the issue of there being too many graduates. There are more graduates now than say 20 years ago, and because of this, I feel that there is an imbalance between the number of college or university graduates and the amount of full-time jobs available. Of course, this varies by country. In other countries, there are more people who have a diploma or degree compared to other countries. But even still, as time progresses, the imbalance will become even more present in many parts of the world. So, in the days of the apprenticeships, there were some goals apprentices would reach during and after the completion of their apprenticeships. The 1911 book, Labor and Apprenticeship by Reginald Bray, includes a section that discusses the main objectives of the apprenticeship system, which are: the apprenticeship must provide for the adequate supervision of apprentices until they reach the age of 18 years old. Before this age, the apprentice is not fit to be his own master and should remain, at least to some extent, under the supervision of an elder. The apprenticeship system must offer full opportunities of training, both general and special, and it must lead forward to some opening in the ranks of adult labor. As you can see, the objectives and goals of apprenticeships back then mirror what we have today. As an intern, you have a work supervisor who is typically older than you. You are usually given work training or orientation so that you may be able to execute the job as required. But the issue is, besides the imbalance between the number of graduates and the amount of jobs available, the other issue I would like to talk about is that internships should potentially lead to other opportunities of employment, mainly being a full-time job. At times, after completing an internship, it can lead to a candidate being hired for a full-time job. Otherwise, prospective candidates have to apply for other internships to gain more work experience, or else just apply for full-time jobs. Candidates try to advance their working career by applying for entry-level jobs. But as you can see from the memes shown, entry-level jobs often have ridiculous job requirements, and this is one of the major difficulties in landing a full-time job. Since candidates can't land a full-time job or an entry-level job, they are stuck in an internship loop where they just apply for internships without really advancing in their work careers. They become a forever intern, I can say. As great of an opportunity as internships may be, it can still be difficult to navigate the working world with just internship experience under one's belt. Unless the gap between the number of people graduating and the number of jobs available decreases, and unless we have entry-level jobs that are actually entry-level, We may see a rise in jobs that are internships that potentially lead to nothing after.